Hey folks, we're back. It's a rainy Sunday afternoon. Just got back from the current Paleo Challenge group, and we got a little experiment going on. Normally I don't videotape the experiments. I like to do it once or twice before I put it on tape. But I was telling Pete what I was going to do, and he told me I had to make a video. So Pete, this is for you because you told me to do this. We're making bone broth today. I've never made bone broth, but if you do the research, there's a ton of nutrients in bone marrow and in broth, in true broth, not what you buy in the store, but what you make yourself. So there's a lot of recipes out there, and I'm trying kind of a combination of a couple. You can do it in a couple different kinds of pots. I'm using a large stock pot. I would normally use a crock pot, but I'm planning on using my crock pot tonight to make some meat for this week, so I'm going to use this. So I've been saving my bones over the course of the last week or so. Just put them in a bag in the freezer. So we got a bag of bones here, and again I'm filming myself, so I apologize for the poor videography. Well, we got a combination of chicken bones. There's some more chicken bones. Let's see, we got a ribeye bone here. Some people do it with all beef bones. This is oxtail bone. Oxtail was delicious. If you've never eaten oxtail, I highly recommend it. So we got our bones, and they're in there. Pretty much every recipe I could find involved the following. Then they said vegetables you can put them in, so we're going to put a couple sticks of celery in just for a little bit of flavor there. We're going to put a couple cloves of fresh garlic in there, again just for a little bit of flavor. And I found one that said go ahead, chop an onion in half and put that guy in there. So you got an onion that's chopped in half, put that in there. You can use some ground cloves, or some whole cloves. I only have ground cloves right now, so we're going to sprinkle a little bit of that in. And then you can put whole coriander or a little bit of ground. So I only have ground right now, so we're gonna use that. And then some pepper if you got it. And what everybody seemed to say is the most important ingredient was the apple cider vinegar. So I'm out of hands. I didn't think I had to open this ahead of time, so I apologize for that lapse there. But we're going to put about a quarter of a cup of apple cider vinegar in there. And the next step was get it hot, bring it to a boil, and then let it simmer. And this is where there were a lot of differences. Some said you can let it simmer for 6 hours, some said up to 3 days. So I don't know how I feel about letting that go for 3 days. We'll take it one step at a time, but I'll keep taping and we'll experiment together and see where this gets us. So I'm going to bring this to a boil and then let it simmer for at least a few hours, and then show you where it's at, and then maybe we'll let it simmer for a little bit longer. Alright, we're back with our documentation of making the bone broth. It's been going for about 12 hours. It was simmering, but I took the lid off to show you what it looks like, so it's not simmering anymore. It's been going for about 12 hours. Like I said, I think I'm going to let it go for another 12. Not normally a big fan of leaving stuff on the stove when I'm not home, but you go for it and hope the house doesn't burn down. So again, why make your own broth? It's nutritious. There's a ton of magnesium. Glucosamine is another great thing that comes out of bones. And like I said, I'm using a mixture of beef and chicken bones. Not sure how it's going to come out, but we'll find out. So we'll see what it looks like in another 12 hours. Alright, here we are. It's been about 24 hours now. Good news is the house did not burn down. And I don't know if you can tell on the camera, but the broth is getting distinctly thicker. And a lot of recipes talked about the thickness. You almost want it gelatin-like, and it's definitely distinctly thicker now at the 12-hour mark. I did a little taste test, and it's good, but I think I'm going to let it go for another 12 hours or so and see how thick we can get it. So we're going to let it keep simmering. in about another 12 hours, and we'll see where we're at, strain it, and see how it tastes. Alright, we're back. Last episode of the bone broth. I don't know if you can tell, but it really kind of boiled down. A lot of the bones are exposed now. A lot of the recipes that I found said that if the water level gets low, just keep adding more. And before I went to bed last night, the water level was good, but quite a bit of it steamed off over the night. What's left, I just did a taste test, is it's absolutely delicious. Best broth I've ever had. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the whole pot here and use the strainer and strain out everything, and then save it in some type of container. With the broth, you could either obviously make soup out of it, or a lot of people just drink a cup of bone broth a day as a source of glucosamine, magnesium, and various other nutrients. So I'm going to strain it, and I'll show you what it looks like then. Alright, it's strained, and I don't know if you can tell, but it's a nice thick broth. It was about 36 hours to get roughly one bowl of soup. So a lot of work there. 36 hours I think is the right amount of time. It does taste really good. I think it'll be worth it. Should have added a little bit more water last night, and would have gotten a little more out of it. But that's my lesson learned. So there you go. That's homemade bone broth. Give it a try. You can, like I said, I just saved bones for a couple weeks. A lot of butcher shops, you can just go in and ask them for bones, and they'll give you a bag of bones, supposedly. I've never tried. Give that a try next time. So that's homemade bone broth. If you got any other ideas, let me know. See you at the gym.